Welcome to The Sword, Kennedy High School's news magazine show, where we share our stories with you all. I'm your host, Esther Juneja, and this is the February edition of The Sword. Happy February. Last month, due to the snow days and the crazy schedules, we weren't able to have an episode for you all. But we have still been working on stories. Our first story is about a human necessity that unites us all: food. In schools, getting lunch oftentimes gets overlooked due to the bad reputation school lunches have always had. The Division of Nutrition Services in MCPS has a mission to change that rep to make school lunches more enjoyable for students like you and I. They visited our school for a taste testing for staff and students. Here's Amanda Santiago with that story.
After a long morning of sitting in a classroom, thinking and working, students are often desperate for a break. That's why one moment throughout the school day unites students more than any other: lunchtime.
Kennedy High School is just it's a really large participation school because it is free breakfast and lunch with a CEP program. And so we do about 900 to 1,000 students a day for lunch.
However, despite there being so many people who eat school food each day, students' opinion of school food are often negative.
We know that school food kind of has this sort of bad reputation in a lot of ways, and the pandemic exacerbated that, but we really want to make sure that we're reaching as many students as we can and that the meals are appropriate to our student population.
Seeing the same things over and over again, it definitely creates fatigue, seeing the same items. So the more diverse options that we have, the better opportunity there is for students to enjoy the services that we want to provide.
Recently, the Division of Food and Nutrition Services set up a tasting day at John F. Kennedy High School to try to change that. Student leaders from groups such as the Student Government Association and the Leadership Training Institute were invited to taste some meals and give feedback. The main item on the menu was a Maryland blue catfish cake that was not only tasty for students, but good for our environment.
And a fish cake thing was really delicious. It really exceeded my expectations from school lunch, I guess you consider, from the norms of my middle school.
We also love the story behind it. The idea that blue catfish are an invasive species to the bay. So by getting this product onto menus, it's something that we can do to help the fishermen who are in Maryland, as well as our waterways, to be more sustainable.
A proper school lunch is not only important for students nutritionally, but can have many impacts on other aspects of their life, such as school performance.
I think it's important because we're here 7 hours a day, and if we're going to be here for that amount of time, I think that we should have at least a decent meal.
We know that students that are well fed perform better in classes, perform better on standardized tests.
Also, for students to have good energy levels, I think it's important to have good food in our cafeteria.
Normally I bring lunch, but after today's test meal, I might consider actually getting some lunches from here.
In Silver Spring, I'm Amanda Santiago for KCTV.
When we were younger, we were all taught the importance of looking both ways before you cross the street. As we've continued to grow up, the importance of road safety has become even more critical, as most of us have entered the stage of becoming brand new drivers. Amanda Santiago drives us through this story.
Roads are a vital part of all our lives. We use them to get to our destinations, whether that is friends, family, or school. But even though roads can do many good things for us, they can also be very dangerous.
Road safety means that you basically taking all the steps to be cautious when you're driving, when you're doing what's necessary to just stay safe and getting from point A to point B.
Road safety means to me just generally being aware of your surroundings while you're at the wheel of a car and making sure that you're actually paying attention and not on your phone.
The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration found that 2,514 people were killed in crashes involving a teen driver in 2022.
Thankfully, I have never been in an accident before.
I've never been in an accident before.
Some ways to help create a safer road are to obey speed limits, don't drive under the influence, and always wear your seatbelt.
I believe that I'm a safe driver just because I do what's necessary. I don't speed. I'm aware of everything that's around me, and I move with caution.
People who aren't actually on the road can help make it safer as well. Pedestrian safety is a huge part of road safety. When crossing a road, never assume a driver has seen you. Make sure to look left, right, then left again, and always use crosswalks and obey signals.
Oh, the most important part is just being alert, just being aware of your surroundings and who's around you.
In Silver Spring, I'm Amanda Santiago for KCTV.
Last school year, over 4,000 serious incidents were reported in all MCPS schools in one school year alone. The MCPS community has been pleading with board members to make this issue a top priority again. Here's Oscar Salguero with that story.
Since returning from online school, Kennedy and other MCPS schools have seen an increase in drug and violent safety concerns.
I think we're in a very scary time when it comes to safety and security in Montgomery County Public Schools.
Regarding my safety, I don't feel like it's the safest it could be.
It's not just this school. Every school is not as safe as it should be.
Security is huge for everyone, staff, teachers, families, students.
Drug involvement, students being involved in so many drugs, it puts an impact on their safety and my safety because I could walk in the bathroom and anything could happen.
Talking about fentanyl and fentanyl making its way into schools, that's a national and an international problem because that has to do with the flow of drugs into the country and then into our communities, of which schools are a part of.
MCPS has attempted to fight the problem by implementing a new ID policy, but this is just a small change to a bigger problem.
Well, I'm not too familiar with what they have implemented.
Well, I'm not that familiar with MCPS's safety policy.
MCPS's safety policy, I don't feel like is the best it could be.
So they don't have a single policy, they have a lot of policies, and I think a lot of them are inadequate. Really have anxiety about it.
Staff and other members of the community have tried to advocate for these changes to the Board of Education, but nothing has seemed to be done.
For the lockdown incident on Thursday, I feel that MCPS lied by omitting key information in the community letter. Yeah, as PTA president, my main priority and focus has been on advocacy. My power is using my voice. I write, I speak, I reach out to council members, I reach out to the Board of Education, I reach out to leadership within MCPS, and I attempt to use my position as PTA president to be a voice for the community.
In Silver Spring, I'm Oscar Salguero for KCTV.
That does it for this episode of The Sword. If you have a story idea for The Sword, you can DM us on our Instagram at KCTV_JFK. And you can also socialize with us on YouTube and Twitter. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you in March for another edition of The Sword.